Hey guys, whether you are onshore or living here in Australia or you are living outside or offshore in Australia, you can forecast your point to know if you are eligible to apply the permanent visa here in Australia. So just go into this linked points calculator. I'm gonna put the description in the link in the YouTube description below. So basically this is a point calculator created by Australian government to determine if you are eligible for getting a PR or getting either a temporary PR as well. So all of this are doesn't need a sponsor. 189 is not bound to any state nominee. So once you get approved to 189, you can you can live anywhere in Australia. 190, it's kind of similar, but the only difference is there's a specific place where you need to live because it's a state nominee. So if Victoria nominate you to come over there, although this is a PR subclass, you need to stay there at least like 3 years, I think. And subclass 489 is more into temporary visa. So it's not permanent PR compared to 190 and 189. It's a regional, so you need to stay in a regional area. In, let's say, if it's in, let's say, NSW, you need to either live in Wollongong or any other regional area in NSW. In Victoria, you need to live probably in Pakenham or Geelong or any regional area. So again, 491 is not a PR. It's a temporary like visa. You need to stay there for at least 3 years and meet the, you need to have a work before applying to the permanent visa scheme. Now, let's say you have a years of experience and you want to go 189 visa. You click on 189, and again, your points determine. There is definitely a criteria for the age. This 33 years old is the highest point. They don't even also recommend younger talent. So 25 to 33 years old got the highest score. And English language requirements is basically either the IELTS or PTE, so you need to take that. Having a superior or 90 bond, 9.7.5 bond, I'm not so sure about it, but having a superior English does really help you to get to get a nomination or to get higher points. The higher points you get, the higher chances of getting a PR or getting invited. So work experience as well. You need to be also careful with this of claiming the points because this is accompanied by a skills assessment. So for example, if you're a multimedia specialist, you need to go into the ACS. If you are a chef, probably you need to go to Best Assess. And they have some criteria to determine if your experience is claimable. So let's say you have a 5 years experience, but in some point ACS only claim or only accept 3 years out of 5 years of experience. So you cannot claim the 5 years. Instead, you go into the at least 3 years of experience. Australian skill deployment, basically, your Australian employee, in most cases, they're gonna accept this if it's relevant to your ANSCO code, as long as you have the basic, you have the Australian super, you have the tax, and you have the pay slip, which normally Australian company provided if you are employed under a TFN. So let's just say you have 1 year of experience. Again, if it's 11 months, you cannot get points. You need to be at least 1 year experience to get extra 5 points. Educational attainment, if you lived, this one is not bound on, having an Australian education. So this is basically your highest education in total. So having a bachelor degree is, in other countries, is still equivalent to bachelor degree. So bachelor degree there, so at least bachelor degree from Australian education, or at least bachelor degree from another education institute that is of recognized standard. Okay, now again, this is not bound to Australian, but with this part, Australian study requirements, it gives you an extra points if you have studied in Australia. So do you have at least a degree, at least a diploma or trade from an Australian education? If yes, obviously you take yes. Now this part, this is only claimable if you studied masters by research. Again, a lot of people misunderstand this because most of the masteral courses in Australia is master by course. It's not masters by research. So basically, to get into masters by research, you need to have either a master's by course before getting a master's by research, or you need to have an with honor to get a master's by research. So, and usually master's by research is offered only in uni. It's not offered in college, but in master's by course, there are some institution and colleges offers master by course. But again, be careful in this. You shouldn't be claiming yes if you only studied masters by course. They are different. So this one is more in like creating a book research by the word research. I'm going to click no for that. Credentials community language is actually a NATI. There are some other companies that provide a training to make sure that you are prepared for a NATI, and having or passing this certificate can give you an extra 5 points. 5 points is really, it still impact your PR invitation or PR application. So if you can take NATI, take a NATI. The only disadvantage with NATI is really it's expensive. I think it's $500 or $800. I'm not so sure about it. But once you get past, the expiration is not that short. Like you can the validity of NATI is at least 5 years. 5 years, which is good. So if I said yes, I'm gonna take a NATI, I have enough time to study at least a month or 2 weeks preparation, and then obviously a money as well to pay for the exam. And then with this one as well, did you study in regional Australia? To those who are international students already know what this means. If you studied or if you enrolled to a course that is based in regional like Geelong, Wollongong, or Pakenham, then obviously you tick yes. Yes, when you tick yes, there will be an extra 5 points. But at the moment, I studied in metropolitan in the CBD, so I'm gonna click no there. And then partners skills, if you are single, it will give you an extra, like the maximum points. But if you are living with someone, I suggest that you tell them to take a PTE and get a competent English. So I'm gonna say yes. I'll just gonna pressure him that he should have a higher score in PTE. I'm gonna get competent there. And with this one, professional year in Australia, you need to be careful in this because professional year, you can definitely actually click the check if you can claim this. So it says here that you need to either study the STEMs, it's either accounting or ICT, computing and engineer, and then which is my course is fine. Like my course, Advanced Diploma in Information Technology, is related to ICT and computing. But in your nominated occupation or closely related occupation, I'm check on that. Completed over a period of at least 12 months, I'm also check on that. Completed in Australia in 4 years before you are invited for a visa. So this one, I'm not eligible. So you should have, in most cases, you need to have a higher education. So you need to have a bachelor degree, or you can have like maybe advanced diploma and then you take master's, or advanced diploma and then bachelor. So it needs to be at least 4 years. Okay. And yeah, provided by this organization, ACS for computer science or IT, CPA for accounting, or this one, Institute of Public Accounting, or engineer. So they are only covering the only, when you said professional year, these are only the, like, I believe the category that it's also stated here, where a professional year program was completed, meaning within the 48-month period prior to the time of invitation, you may be awarded for extra points. So you need to be studying at least 4 years to claim the professional year in Australia. So I'm gonna click no on that, and it gives me a 90 points. Now 90 points is pretty good really for let's say if you are a multimedia specialist, because actually if you go into the invitation round, let's say 189, and you click this, and then scroll down. And let's say these are like, just by the way, I'm gonna bookmark this link to you guys for your reference. When you check on your like points, you say 189, you're 25 years old, superior English, you check all of this stuff. And actually I haven't finished bachelor, let's just say diploma there. I have 85 points. Now, if you go into this website, this is more on like invitation round outcomes. These are like the ideal score of profession that normally get invited in 189. And as you notice, they have a different points really. So accountant has a higher point. So in most cases, 95 points usually get invited. So if you have lesser points with that, then the slimmer you get chances to get invited. Now we jump into the other, which is actually, it's a bit like, if you notice here, carpenter is only 65 points. It's very in demand here in Australia, although it's a trade, but it doesn't really require you to have higher points. As long as you have 65 points, even in a cabinet maker and bricklayer, more in the trade, you can get invited in most cases, like although you have a 65 points. So again, these point systems in here with each individual like profession is the baseline of like your expectation, just to meet your expectation. Now if I go into my part, a multimedia specialist, jump in there, multimedia specialist, usually with like an applicant with an 85 points can get invited, but if you can get, you know, higher than that, well, the better. So but at the moment my score is just really the you know, the starting. But again, we still have hope. 85 points still in the bracket to get invited, but with all the competition, you know, you should have at least a backup plan and all. If 189 doesn't fit for you, maybe you can jump in with 190. But again, 190, you are bound to stay in a certain state. But again, it's still a PR, guys, but it's not that easy as well to get, you know, invited. However, the 190, if the state gonna, you know, invite you, you can claim extra 15 points. 491, if you think that your score is really low, like below average of the recommended points, let's say you're multimedia specialist and you only get, let's say 70 points, then it's highly recommend that you go to the 491 instead of 189. So with the 491, again, you need to wait at least 3 years. You need to stay in that regional area for 3 years, and you need to have a job related to your ANSCA code and maintain a threshold so you can apply for a PR. So yeah, hope that helps. Again, I'm gonna put the link description below, and if you have any question, let me know. Have a great day.